Hello everybody, my name is Wilhelm and I'm going to present today this paper titled Making Software Measurement Standards Understandable. Just a few words about me. I work at Ericsson as system manager. All previous positions I have held had metrics as a central ingredient, so to say. I work 20% of my time with research in the area of metrics. I operate within a consortium named Software Center that consists of 15 companies and 5 universities. 63 publications and 1 book, which I wrote together with Professor Miroslaw Staron, with whom I also wrote this paper. So, making software measurement standards understandable. We all know that standards are very important for all engineering disciplines. And to our experience, standards pose several challenges before they can be successfully integrated into the everyday work of the organizations. The topmost challenge is the difficulty of reading and interpreting them correctly. The reason for this is that standards are formal documents that use a specific to the topic language. To that, they are written in a condensed way, forcing the reader to understand the meaning of every single word. Here we describe our experiences about how we succeeded in explaining the notion of the indicator. And the concept of the indicator is pivotal as it links the data-driven organization's information needs, decisions, and business strategy with the organization's data collection methods, repositories, and its measurement program. So, let's start with a very simple question. What is an indicator? So if we go to the ISO 5939, it states that indicator is a measure that provides an estimate or evaluation, and so on and so forth. So in order to understand the notion of indicator, we must also understand what a measure is. And then we need to understand what a measurement is, and what an attribute is, and what a model is, and the list goes on. And the only thing was to ask, what is an indicator? And we get a very complex answer. So before we continue, let's take a short look into the standard ISO IEC IEEE 5939. And this standard describes the measurement process so that the management can have an effective support, and also it can demonstrate the quality of products, services, and processes of organizations. And this standard is extensively used in the software industry to guide and support measuring related activities. And here we can see a picture of the measurement process. And behind it, of course, there are a number of pages describing it. In Annex A, we have the measurement information model. The measurement information model depicts the elements that build up a measurement system and how they relate to one another. And it is here we find the indicator and its definition. Now, looking at all these definitions and this picture, how easy is it to understand exactly what an indicator is? So, let's go back to real life. And let me show you how we introduce the concept of the indicator. We started by presenting a simple overview of the measurement system. And in this picture, as you can see, measurement system does in principle 3 things. It collects information, data, it processes the information, and then it presents a result. And that result can be presented in Excel, PowerPoint, as a widget on a dashboard, via mails, SMS, and so on and so forth. So we will find to the left of the measurement system, so to say, many data points, and to the right, very few such. Now, after that, we introduced the measurement information model, but we based it on a very simple example, an example that is easily recognized by all software development organizations. And the example is taken from real life. So here we have a system test leader that needs to know the status of the progress of testing. And he has defined it as the quotient of the number of executed system test cases up until now over the number of planned system test cases up until now. So in order to perform this formula, we need to access the database with all these test cases and extract the executed and the planned system test cases. And now we can apply the formula 42 over 50 times 100 to get the progress, 84%. And now comes the interesting part. By using the thresholds the leader has defined, green, yellow, red, depending on where the progress is, we can now calculate the indicator. And it is now that the organization understood the difference between the colorless 84% and the yellow 84%. And now it's easy to explain that an indicator needs always a measure. In order to be an indicator, has to have three things tied to it: the stakeholder, the analysis model, and the interpretation, which means what do we do when the indicator is red, yellow, green, or if you have other colors for that matter. And first, when this was understood, then we introduced slowly the remaining notions of the measurement information model, as you can see here. So as you can see here, it's very easy now to tie this formal measurement information model, measurement system, and its definition of indicator to a real life example, making it easy for people to understand now. What does this picture mean? When we introduced to sum things up now, the notion of the indicator, we observed quite a few things. Among them, that the organization started to use these notions of measure and indicator correctly. And these notions, they were used by all employees, regardless of hierarchical level and role. And that the number of indicators used by the organization was dramatically reduced, which led to, of course, the organization focusing and following up on a vital few. So our recommendations are that whenever possible, use visualizations to explain difficult concepts and use examples that everyone involved understands and also can relate to. Thank you.